Hi, welcome to our channel Good New. Today, I am pleased to introduce a new topic: how can SMIC endure the challenge of American chip pressure? Following the American punishment on Huawei and Meng Wanzhou's incident, SMIC found itself in a difficult situation in a sensitive industry. SMIC has two options in an extraordinarily tough situation, for the sake of China's semiconductor industry. It must aggressively increase production, which means it must cooperate with foreign suppliers, particularly those from the United States, and must naturally follow the appropriate rules and regulations of the United States, or China. If the core rejects the US, it will struggle to exist, let alone flourish, and the domestic sector would suffer bigger losses. The old SMIC suffered humiliation, expanded production, serviced thousands of domestic semiconductor businesses, and benefited the domestic industry on a big scale. The latter was burnt, but SMIC received plaudits online or beyond China's home region, and the local industry lost support. What about SMIC's current state? SMIC will undoubtedly continue to abide by international laws in the past, present, and future, to operate in accordance with laws and regulations, to integrate into the international semiconductor industry circle, to cooperate with international upstream and downstream, to strengthen itself through internationalization, and to serve the industry. The Chinese semiconductor sector is now in a precarious position. On the outside, there are obvious sanctions from the US, as well as involvement that appears to aid but actually contributes to the disarray. Furthermore, China's foundry sector is under fourfold pressure, which SMIC cannot avoid. How is SMIC dealing with American pressure? First and foremost, the local chip foundry business suffered a twofold hit as a result of competitors' dimensionality reduction battle. Competitors such as TSMC, UMC, NSMC, and Hynix have established plants on the mainland, which means that international firms in mainland China receive all of the benefits that local companies do: market, talent, government assistance, and even capital dividends. Competitors, on the other hand, can benefit from talent advantages, international collaboration, tax breaks, and foreign government assistance. International rivals assault from top to bottom, doing high-end offshore and low-end domestically. Not just SMIC, but also the mainland semiconductor manufacturing industry, is feeling the impact of rivals' dimensionality reduction. Second, because local semiconductor capital is active, there are a large number of startup enterprises. Domestic startups see SMIC as a natural talent pool, fueled by the enthusiasm of finance. Because of the irrationality of capital, exorbitant pay are paid to lure people, resulting in a significant loss of SMIC talent. Is SMIC's mismanagement the only cause for this? Third, unlike the terminal sector, semiconductors, particularly production, rely heavily on the global industrial chain, particularly upstream industries such as equipment, materials, components, and EDA using American technology. After the United States blacklisted Huawei, SMIC is the world's largest and most important Chinese semiconductor business. As a result, the United States is hyper-focused on it, and its every move is scrutinized. SMIC is now on a tightrope whether it comes to acquiring equipment, raw materials, or picking clients. The most important condition for progress in this circumstance is survival. Unlike multinational corporations, they may benefit from both international and domestic policy, and they can concentrate on industries and expand themselves without distractions. SMIC is in an extremely delicate international scenario. It must consider more compliance with international and domestic rules and operate in accordance with laws and regulations outside of the sector. Fourth, because of its dominant position as the largest semiconductor business in mainland China, SMIC is a star company on the Science and Technology Innovation Board. As a result, Chinese people naturally have extraordinarily high expectations for SMIC, and both the official and the public will be sternly chastised for chasing perfection. However, this has put SMIC under a lot of strain, whether it is directly meddling in corporate governance or disturbing audiovisual at the level of public opinion. It is quite natural to wish for SMIC to grow quicker and stronger. However, according to industry legislation, the earliest pregnancy in October will take 8 or 9 months, and it will be impossible to cut the pregnancy duration to 1 or 2 months since the leadership level of worry is higher and the media hoopla is greater. Perhaps SMIC's turbulent past and staff changes caused everyone to detest iron but not steel for the company. True, SMIC has made mistakes in corporate management, cultural building, and talent unification in recent years, but these are minor. What is the precise cause behind this? Is SMIC the only one who can carry the pot? Many times, the voices accusing SMIC are the same ones that have led to SMIC's current condition, such as these pseudo-experts. What about Huawei's future development after SMIC? Huawei is not the only option. SMIC is not as successful as Huawei in terms of worldwide impact and performance, but they are all exceptional Chinese enterprises that have made significant contributions to their respective sectors. SMIC has risen to become one of the world's top 5 foundry producers. The United States has imposed sanctions precisely because of its fast development. This American standard certification demonstrates SMIC's accomplishment. From 1x nanometers to mature processes, SMIC has been mass-produced. Even after being sanctioned by the US, its revenue in 2020 is predicted to climb by 25.4%, with full-year revenue growth reaching 39% in 2021. Huawei is proud of the Chinese people and has achieved great things in the communications business, but there are still distinctions between communications and semiconductors. Communication is a product that is more downstream and market-oriented, chips are an industry that is more upstream, and the supply chain is a survival chain. Huawei is not omnipotent in the face of semiconductors, the most worldwide and sophisticated sector in human history, not to mention that Huawei is currently sanctioned by the US and brutally suppressed. Perhaps Huawei's prior success has given the Chinese people the notion that it is all-powerful, as it has given certain specialists. However, semiconductors do not believe in shortcuts, and there are none, even Huawei. Tuition fees, lessons, accumulation, and time may have been lowered, reduced, or shortened as a result of Huawei's excellent management capabilities during this process, but the path must still be traveled step by step. According to my knowledge, Huawei's understanding and cognition of the semiconductor sector is similarly dynamic and developing. From optimism through pessimism to reality, it is more realistic and nevertheless exploratory. When I spoke with Mr. Ren Zhengfei, the founder of Huawei, in September of last year, we also discussed SMIC. Mr. Ren Zhengfei stated that Huawei earnestly believes that SMIC would improve and that Huawei should not be involved in any way that would jeopardize its contribution to many other Chinese enterprises. I believe this is due to Mr. Ren Zhengfei's height and pattern, as well as his comprehensive grasp of Huawei, SMIC, Chinese semiconductors, and the worldwide scenario. Should firms that aren't as excellent as SMIC want Huawei to take over if you think SMIC isn't performing well and want to sell it to Huawei? SMIC is already the world's 5th largest chip foundry and must be acquired by Huawei. How about the other foundries? The disparity between the local memory business and the foreign market has grown even wider. Should it be sold to Huawei as well? Should Huawei take up equipment, materials, EDA, and other linkages that account for a smaller share of the worldwide market? The fact is that Huawei is doing subtraction under US sanctions. Huawei has sold glory, and it is said that it may sell servers as well. Operating a massive technological corporation under US sanctions is not the same as viewing people with burdens as a spokesperson. Huawei's subtraction must be seeing that its own condition is dire and that it cannot handle anything on its own. The main concern is survival, and there must be a determination to survive with a shattered arm in unusual circumstances. From a logical standpoint, the United States has fully sanctioned Huawei. Who would like to see numerous losses if the acquisition of SMIC leads to more penalties on Huawei and SMIC? Overall, China's semiconductor sector can only flourish if the entire industry develops. Only until SMIC succeeds will China's semiconductor industry take off, and only when China's semiconductor industry takes off will it be able to assist Huawei in reaching Phoenix Nirvana and rising from the ashes. The long march cannot take the 2.1-line shortcut, the Xinguang trip cannot have the illusion of short-term rapid success, and the noble cause cannot accept self-righteous amateurs. Thanks for watching in this video. You can add your ideas or suggestions below. Please keep following our channel and like our videos.